not knowing the lake, I've only ever fished it once when I've done the carping for Kodak. Jamie's put us on a couple of areas. Right hand rod's out, just a single pink fluoro. Middle rod's going to be maggots. And the left hand rod's going to be a little barrel, white barrel, fishing over some white pellet. All I've done at the moment, I'm not the most brilliant with a spod, so what I tend to do is tie my bags onto leads, whack the lead out, fill the drop, let the bag dissolve, bring the lead back, do another bag. People like Jamie and that, and Paul, that sort of know a lot more about the lake than me. I still want to know what I'm fishing over or up against, you know. I found a couple of nice little spots where you just pull off the light gravel when you first hit the silt. So, as I said, that's where I've got, well, two of my rods at the moment. I've got two markers on the far bank, that leaning tree to the right hand side of that swim, and then straight out in front there's another tree just to the left leaning, and then my third one's going to be out. Me and Paul are going to stick a rod either side of the marker. So we'll just give it a go for a night and see what happens. Well, as I said, the right hand rod's just a single pop-up fluoro tied KD with a shot behind it. All I'm going to do on this is do another two solid bags out of maggots, and then obviously I'll put a small mag bag on my middle rod. That rod will be done exactly the same, little white chocolate malt barrel, 10 miller that scattered baits have been mucking about with, and just with some white pellet on. Yeah, all it is, it's just a rig, same as, well, years and years ago it was known as the Whirling Ted rig. It was used with, believe it or not, big biro tubing. That was how that rig first came about. It's just a standard helicopter or rotary rig, however you ever want to call it. Your lead core, ESP's lead core, bead swivel, bit of silicone over the lead, because normally I tie my leads on. When I pulled off the car park, when I went on to Fox Pool, because the odd fish apparently has got a bit of a twisted mouth, I wanted to try and suss away of fishing for them, but making sure the hook was going in properly without coming out. On my first session, I had a nice 32 common, and what I'd done, I put a small split shot behind a 14mm standard pop-up. So literally, the pop-up was actually, the hook was sitting up off the deck. It basically knocked the weight out of the hook. So in my eyes, as the fish sucks, that's probably the first bait that shot up into its mouth. Was quite happy with the hook hold on that, and then I think I had one session after that with nothing, and went back and then had another mid-30 with the same setup. Both hook holds were a good inch and a half back. I had to full sip them, which I can't remember the last time I've had to full sip a carp like that. So I'm just going to give it a whirl up here and see what happens. Another little thing that I don't know if it's going to make a difference, I don't know, but I know maggots have been used up here, and I know I would have thought a lot of just basic white maggots or red maggots, so I've gone for a mixture of maggots, so you've got a different colour out there, rather than just them coming over the same white or red and being a bit cagey around it. Might make a difference, it might not. This is the way I like to do it. Basically, I'm not going to lie, I'm no good with a spot, I'm useless with them, so with these leads, you can just tie the bag on, and I can feel the rod compress a lot better than what I can with a spod. So it's just, like I said, it's the way I like to do it. So that's how I tend to get my bags out there when I'm fishing bags. One good thing with that, I mean, even with maggots, certain pellets you'll get, when you're spodding, some will sink, some won't. At least with this, I know that's going to hit bottom, and once the bag bursts, you might get them coming up, rising through the water column at different levels. If there's fish coming through mid-water, and there's the odd maggot or a bit of pellet popping up, it's just something to draw them down. Basically, I thinned out all the maize meal in here, and I've got a different powder I've put the maggots in. Now, this powder that I'm using is not cheap, so if you was to use a funnel web on a cast, half of it's going to come out on the cast, it's just going to spring everywhere. So with a solid bag, at least I know that's hitting the bottom and all. I think every fishing situation changes from one session to the next. Depends where you're fishing and all, whether you're fishing like a big lake, small lake, out in the pond. Some lakes, they still get in the edges around the winter time, you know, as long as there's a deep bit of water and some cover, they're more than happy to spend their winter sort of right up into the snags, you know. So in my eyes, every fishing situation's different from the last one. We've had a severe weather warning given out for tonight. Apparently it's going up to, I don't know, 53 mile-hour gusts. And basically, I was coming up to see Jamie, and I got some lads coming up to collect some bait, and was in Yateley angling, and another friend that I haven't seen for a long time, Mr. Lanaway, he was going somewhere else, but we've dragged him along and all. So it's just more of a soch, and like I said, it's my first trip. I don't know the lake that well, so I'm going more on the lads that know. I think a lot of people over the recent years, I mean, we're all accused of doing it, is this single pop-up approach. You know, I don't know many people now that muck about with a milk in the winter. It's just something, yeah, again, you go back to what you've caught well on in the past, years and years ago, and you think, well, you've not seen anyone else do it, well, you've got nothing to lose, you know. The maggots are being done everywhere now, the pop-ups, the chods, the hinged rigs. So it's just something I've reverted back to from my old fishing. A lot of the lakes that I've fished the last few years are deep lakes anyway, you know, sort of road lake, and that was 17 foot, car park, sort of quite deep in areas, 12s. It just got to adapt to the situation you're put in, haven't you, you know. So it was an area that leg cracked down, a little bit of gravel, and then into silt, you know. So seems to pull through it all right. It's not getting stuck as such. So we're going to try a little barrel setup on this. Tied exactly the same as KD again. Little shot. Size 8, Drennan barber look. They're straight point with a slight in-turn of the eye going inwards. So they're just a hook that I've started to use, mucked about with them a little bit up on the road lake. And the hook holds have been good, so one of them. Same old, same old. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Some little milk pellets on over the top again, you know. Jamie and that have been fishing up here. They said it's been hard going. There's not been a great deal happening, so just start off with bits and pieces, see if we can get a bite. Certainly fishing, like I said, on weedy lakes and that, I always tie my leads on 3-pound mono. You want to make sure that breaks away. You want to make sure the bead's not rammed on the silicone above the swivel, so if a fish, you do lose a fish, it can still get rid of the rig. Well, certainly the leg core, that's the main thing, to get shot of that. If it can get shot of that, then 9 times out of 10 they'll work away getting the rig out just by rubbing it up against the stick or on the bottom. You've got to give them a lot more credit, I think. Certainly pressured waters, they used to be fished for all the time, they know ways around it, didn't they?